Hi there YouTube, and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to show you how you can get The Sims 3 to hopefully work on your Mac. Usually when I do videos like this I prefer to offer a free method of doing this, but this time it just hasn't been possible. For this to have a shot at working, you will need an application called Crossover. It is a piece of software made by a company called Codeweavers, and you can find the link for their website in the description below. They do have a 14-day no credit card trial, so all you have to do is just hit try free, and then you fill out your name and your email address here, and you can get a 14-day free trial to test out if you can get this to work, and if you can then buy the application. Their prices are not really that harsh. For $40 you can get one version without software update or phone support, and for $60 you can get 1 year of support and software updates, which might be the one you want to go with. But that is if everything works. And the reason I'm a little hesitant about getting things to work is that getting it to work is a little bit of an if. The video I'm making here is not a guarantee that everything will just go off without a hitch for you. First of all, your computer needs to have a certain amount of performance. What we're going to do is Crossover translates all the Windows applications to something that a Mac can understand, and that will remove some of the performance from your computer. So if it is not very powerful to begin with, this might not even work, or the performance may be so bad that it is unplayable. So know that this is not a guarantee. You might run into different software hiccups than I have been running through here, and I might not be able to help you solve all of them. It won't stop me from giving it a try, so if you have a problem, comment below and I'll see if I can help you, but there's no guarantee. And now that Origin so friendly popped up here, that gives me a chance to get started with what you need to actually get this to work. So just full disclosure, this is not a guarantee, this is a pointer, just so I've made myself clear. And you continue at your own peril. Now, for this to work, you will need quite a lot of files, and I will link to a lot of them. But the first set of files you need is the game files from Origin. So if you don't already have your game registered with Origin, you can of course do that. If you have DVDs, you can read straight off the DVDs without a problem. Now what you do in Origin is that you go and you download the game, and once it's down here in the downloaded has been completed and you're ready to start the installation, you can go and extract the ISO file, and I'm going to show you how you do that. So here in Origin we're going to open up the Origin preferences. In here we have an option up here for installed and saved games, and here you can see you can review the installation software. It's this button right here. I know that my system is Danish here, so I'm translating as best as I can. But what we'll do here is we'll be taken to our library application support Origin download cache folder. As you can see right here, we'll just hit right here. And in here you can see this folder called Sims3DD, and in here we have the file that we just downloaded from Origin. This is the Sims 3 base game file. So that's the one we're going to use to install the game. And to acquire these game files, you just hit your game library in Origin, hit the Sims 3, and to get the base game you just hit download right here. It tells you where it's going to download it to, just where I showed you. Hit next. And it's going to put it in the queue over here. And to get your expansion packs, you just click here called extra content. I think that's what it's called in English. And then here you can find all your expansion packs and you can go download them. I think you can only download them one by one, and it might even be the smartest thing to do. And let me tell you why. In here, in the download folder, you can see the names are completely a mess. So go in, download them one by one, rename them, and then move them to the desktop. That way it'll be a little bit easier to handle. Now I have already done that, so I'm just going to clear out all these files and let's get this video going. On my desktop I have already downloaded the files that I'm going to need for this. I don't have all the expansion packs as that's going to be a little bit repetitive, but I'll go through with that with you. I have the base game here downloaded from Origin, I have ambitions, and I have pets. I also have the super patcher, which I'm going to show you how to get now. And then we have the final step, and this is going to be one of those hurdles you have to go through here. The Sims 3 is protected from being run without Origin or without a DVD, and we need to crack that security. And that is what this file does. This is not legal in all countries, but if you own the game, it is legal some places. You'll need to check that where you live. Here in Denmark, it's just fine. We can, as long as we have the game discs and everything, we can use these files. That's okay. We own the game, we just helped ourselves a little. And I will point you to where you can download this. The link will be in the description. It is hosted on my own Google Drive, so it's not something that'll disappear. This is a multi-language file, so this will work with any language of The Sims 3. The only way it's going to work is if you use the Super Patcher version 1.67.2.0240XX, whatever this update is called here. So just know that this update is going to be required. I'm going to link to this update in the description below, so go get it there. And I also have a backup in my own Google Drive that you can go for, so if one suddenly stops working, there is a backup. If you want to download the Super Patcher on your own, just Google Sims 3 Super Patcher, and there we go, Super Patch. And this link here from helpea.com is where you can get it. Now this is going to pop up in Danish here because I'm in Denmark. And we'll jump to PC, and down here we have download the Super Patcher for PC here. That's the link, and this is the link that I will have in the description below. So there you go. Now, to get all this working, you need to install Crossover. That's very easy. Just drag it to your applications folder. I have already done that, and for some reason it keeps prompting me here. We'll just get rid of that. This is what Crossover looks like, and this is from my previous installation of The Sims 3, all these files, and all I need to run it is this one. I'll show you how this works in a minute. But let's get started with how Crossover works. You simply just click down here, install a Windows program. It's going to pop up here, and you might get some yellow bar up here that says it needs to update the software libraries. Just hit update. It will download all the cross ties, as it's called. That'll help Crossover install software. And then we're going to type The Sims 3 here, and it offers me The Sims 3 and The Sims 3 Ambition. So I'm just going to click The Sims 3. And you can see it has 4 stars. It'll work pretty well. Then we need to choose where to install it from. Apparently you can get The Sims 3 from Steam. I didn't even know this. So at this point we're going to open up the base game file here. So I'm just going to double click, and I'm going to skip the check because I know that file is okay. And now Crossover will prompt here and tell you that it's ready to install, so I'm just going to hit ignore. You can see in this window here that it has already selected The Sims 3. I'm going to choose here. Now this is important. This is really important, so pay attention. It's going to ask you to create a Windows 7 64-bit bottle. That is not going to work. At least it did not do that on my system. Go in and create a Windows XP bottle. And now over here, you're going to have to give it a name. I'm just going to call this Sims 3 YouTube, because I already have The Sims 3 installed. You can see that I have a compatible bottle down here called The Sims 3. That's because it's already installed. And then when we click the final tab up here, Install and Finish, it's going to tell me that it's going to install The Sims 3. It's going to install it in a Windows XP bottle called The Sims 3 YouTube, and it's going to install additional dependencies. So now I hit install, and now it's gonna start doing a lot of stuff, and it's gonna look really crazy, but that's fine. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And just to clean up a little bit on my desktop, I'm gonna close this window here down. You're gonna get this one about a font installation. You're just gonna have to click yes, and that's going to install the font that it needs to actually preview the installers for you, or show you the installers for you. So it's kind of technical, but just it's really easy when it works. Just follow the instructions and don't think too much about it. In the background, it's also preparing something called Microsoft.NET. .NET is required to install The Sims 3. So this .NET Framework 3.5 Service Pack 1 here, it is necessary. Do not skip this. And this was the part that failed in the Windows 7, by the way. You're going to have to read and accept, or at least accept the license agreement, and hit install. And then it's going to install. On my system here, I'm running an iMac 5K with an SSD hard drive, so it's not going to take that long here. I have a quad-core i5 processor, so that's going to go real fast. While it installs, by the way, we can just take a look at the remaining system specifications here. This is the system that I'm running The Sims 3 from, and I can tell you that from this particular system, it is running fabulously. If you have a MacBook Pro with a proper graphics card in it, or some older iMacs maybe, it should run pretty good. If you're trying this on a MacBook Air, you might not get the best of results, just so you know. Now, let's see, there we go. It was installed and there was no mistakes. We're going to hit finish, and there we go. Now it's going to pop up with The Sims 3, and you can get to choose your language here. I'm just going to go with English here. Let's see if it translates the installer, so it's a little bit easier for me to guide you. It did. We're going to hit next, and then we're going to choose our country. I'm just going to choose Denmark here. There we go. And then we accept the license agreement, hit OK. Then it's going to prompt you for your serial number, and you can get the serial number in Origin. You can get it displayed there. Also, if you purchase the game on a disc, it'll be in your on a note in the box. I'm just going to go here into my library, The Sims 3, and if we hit here, we should be able to, here with the game properties, I think it's called, you should be able to see your CD key. Now I'm going to have to blur mine out here because I don't want to give you my CD key, but that's how you can go in and get the CD key for your game. So I'm just going to cancel that out, and I'm going to paste it into the game here, and again you're just going to see a lot of blurs here. Alright, there we go. Now here you can just run with a typical installation. If you choose custom, you get the option to not get a desktop shortcut, which I'm just going to go here and disable, and then hit install. Now the game is going to install, and depending on what system you have, this is the point where you're going to have a little patience. And I'm going to start cutting a little in the video here, so these installations are going to go a little bit fast and a little bit chubby. So we'll just leave that to do what it needs to do. There we go. The Sims 3 completed its installation. And now you can this allow Electronic Arts to gather anonymous information. Just make sure that's disabled. I'm not sure that's going to go off too well when we're going to crack the game later. Also, if you get an option to install either Origin or EA Download or anything like that, make sure to disable that choice and hit next. It's going to ask you if you want to see the README file, and I'm going to choose not to, and I'm going to hit finish. And now it's going to look like everything is stuck. It's not. It's just working, and in a moment it's going to tell you that The Sims 3 has failed its installation. This is because all the anti-piracy stuff and thing that prevents game copying and everything is just not working well with crossover. So it's going to tell me that it failed. It's important that we skip the step. If we abort the installation, we might have to do everything over again, so just skip this step. It's going to do what it needs to do, and you're going to give it here that a few steps were skipped, but it did succeed. And you're going to hit finish. And now I'm just going to go over here to my YouTube bottle, and you can see that it actually did install The Sims 3 here. Now you are ready to install your expansion packs if you have them. Now, depending on where you got your Sims 3 base game from, it might have updated the game to a newer version than some of the expansion packs, and that's fine. That'll work just okay. But maybe the expansion packs needs a patched version of the game to install, and if they do, they will, during the startup of the installation, tell you that it needs an update. It might come with some other message about the game cannot be installed. If you run into that problem, skip ahead and install the patch. I will have inserted the time code in the description below. And let me show you how you can install ambitions and pets. And then for the additional expansion packs and stuff packs, it'll be the same. So I'll leave you to do that. I'll just show you these two. Click the Install Windows Program in the bottom of the crossover window. So I'm going to type in the Sims 3 Ambitions here, and you can see that Ambitions is also in here. So I'm just going to choose that. Or maybe not. We'll try again. There we go. And we're going to choose where from to install it. I'm just going to drag the Sims 3 down to the trash here. We don't need that anymore. And on my desktop, I have the next DMG file. I'm just going to double click it, skip the check, and we're going to ignore this and close this. And here we have the Sims 3 EP02. That's the file, the image file right here. We're going to choose that. And then here, where we choose the bottle, we choose the Sims 3 YouTube. That's where we want to install this. So every time you install an expansion pack or anything, make sure to choose the correct bottle in the tab Choose Bottle. And then install and finish here. Just review what you're going to do. Make sure that everything is correct here, that you install from the right place into the right bottle. And then it tells you for ambitions, it's going to install a few extra dependencies. So we're just going to hit install. And there we go, it's off again. It's going to install a couple of additional fonts, and then we have ambitions up and going. Hit next and agree to the license, and for some reason the game is now Danish again. I don't really know why. Now it's going to ask me for a serial key, so I'm just going to type that in again. Let's go drag this one to the trash and let's run the patch. Just going to hit install a Windows program, and then I'm going to type Sims 3 patch. And the reason I type this is if I just type the Sims 3 and choose the Sims 3 in here again, it's going to go and reinstall .NET and all those fonts and all those things. I don't need that. So I can't just type Sims 3 and then choose unknown software or program. I'm not sure what it'll say in English, but unknown here. And it's going to say it doesn't know anything because now I'm doing something that it doesn't know about. I'm going to choose an installation file. It's these gear symbols, and I'm going to go to my desktop where I have the patch file, this file that you downloaded from EA's website. It's in the description below. I'm going to choose to install it in the Sims 3 YouTube bottle. Again, it is very important that you choose that bottle in here. And then I'm going to review that everything is correct and hit install. And there we go. It's going to install a non-listed application. And here the patch comes. There we go. And it's just going to go straight to the patching. And there we go. We're done. Hit finish. And it's going to bring itself back up to date here. It's just going to take a little while. There we go. Hit finish. And now I'm going to install the Sims 3 Pets. I'm just going to hit down here, type Sims 3 Pets. It's an unknown application. I'm going to, oh, there we go, open up the DMG files, skip the check. And we're just going to ignore it because it's going to choose it on its own. So make sure that the installation program is the Sims 3 EPO5. I'm going to go for the Sims 3 YouTube down here, and we're going to review, and we're going to install. And there we go. Installing another non-listed program, and the launcher is up and going here. There we go. Hit next. Accept the license agreement. And there we go. We're not interested in Origin, and we're not interested in the README file, and we're going to finish that up. And just like before, it's going to think that everything failed, but that's because the copy protection systems and crossover are not really good friends. So everything is fine. Oh, it didn't this time. It did when I installed it the first time. Anyway, gonna hit finish. Once you have installed all the expansion packs, I will encourage you to run the patch one more time to make sure that the latest game you installed gets all its files updated. So just go like we did just before and install the patch. It won't hurt anything to install it once again. And it was a tip that I received from EA Games years ago, back when I was actually playing The Sims 3 on a PC, that it could sometimes deal with some bugs. So once you're done, run that again. Once you have done that, we're ready to crack the game. So I'm just gonna unzip this file. There we go. And in here we have two files. These are the two files that are going to crack and remove the DVD and Origin dependencies from this game, so that we can play the game without Origin and without having a DVD in the computer. And again, this might not be legal where you live. You need to figure that out on your own, but I'm going to show you how to do it, and I have the links for these files in the description down below. So you're going to have to copy these items. I'm going to secondary click and copy these two items. And then in here in my crossover, if I click the icon over here with the bottles, and I right click here on the Sims 3 YouTube, I can choose to open up the C drive. That's going to give me a folder. The game will, as standard, be installed in the Program Files folder, Electronic Arts. Now here you need to go for the Sims 3, and then you go for Game, and then the bin folder. In here, if you take a look, you'll find the ts3w file and the tslhost.dll. In here you will paste these files, so I'm just going to paste them in here, and I'm going to replace both of them just by hitting replace here, and that was that. The game is now cracked and it's ready to run. Now the launcher of the game, where you can install downloads and custom content, it can work, but it can also be one of the most buggy parts and may prevent you from launching the game in the first place. So what I found on the internet is just change the game so that it starts not with the launcher but straight into the game. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I haven't been able to get downloads or custom content to working at all. I haven't figured out how to do that, so I can't really help you with that. Now, over here, you need to, if you haven't already, you need to click the bottles over here so you get the menu over here, and then you need to click the Sims 3 here, the bottle that you just created. If you scroll down, you will have an option here to run a command. You're going to double click this run a command, and in here it's going to have pre-selected the bottle that you have for the Sims 3. You're going to have to click browse here, and then you're going to have to go find that ts3w.exe file again. So I'm going to go Program Files, and then you're going to go Electronic Arts, The Sims 3, Game, Bin, and then in here ts3w.exe, hit Open. Then you can choose to save this command as a shortcut. Click that. And now I'm just going to show you right here. I'm not sure I can actually do that because I already have that from another game. Oh, yes, I could, right there. I was just a little impatient here, sorry. Just gonna hit abort here. So now if you want to run the game with the launcher, you can open the one called The Sims 3. If you want to go straight to the game, it's this ts3w.exe. To make this a little easier on yourself, you can just right-click it, and you can add it to your favorites. Now I'm not going to do that because I already have one up here from my own The Sims game. So it'll put itself in favorites up here, and all you do is just double click it and it'll run. And if you're the kind of guy that uses the launch pad, it's actually going to put it right in here into your launch pad for you. So you can actually go and run it right from here. It'll open up crossover and it'll get the game going. And I'm just going to show you from my own The Sims 3 game here that things are working. This is the one where I installed all the expansion packs, and all I do is just double click. It will then disappear in the dock and it'll seem as if nothing is working, but be patient, it will. Just give it 10 to 15 seconds, it will run. There you go. Now the game is running. It's going to load. And I can't turn down my volume here, my earphones are really loud. Wow. And we can't really skip any of this, but the game is now running. You can go and toil with the graphic settings to get things to work right. There will be a few lags here and there. It's not going to be full 100% native performance, but this is pretty good. And this is the best The Sims 3 has ever worked on any of my Macs. So you might be more lucky than I think you can get, but here it is, up and running, and it's working. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you find it helpful, and see you in the next one.